Hey Captain America enthusiasts, Jason Newman here again with another review. This time I'm going to be reviewing this Captain America helmet replica made by Matthew Dela Cruz. With the exception of Batman and arguably Deadpool, most superheroes today, if not all, don't wear a mask, or if they do wear a mask, they keep trying to find clever ways to show the actor's face for the majority of the time while they're suited up in costume. The Captain America helmet is one of those rare instances where the actor portraying the hero can still wear a mask, but still be as emotive and expressive, and most importantly for them, recognizable while they still have their mask on. So what makes this helmet so special? And by this helmet, I mean specifically this helmet made by this artist. It's all about what kind of an experience do you want to have? For me, I make appearances as Captain America with a charity organization called Superhero Support Incorporated. Their mission is to bring light to see smiles. Basically, they show up at events as superheroes, and their job is to make the fans feel like they are meeting the actual characters, not somebody dressed as the characters, the actual characters. And they go to great lengths, and it's very authentic. And when I was a kid, I would have given anything to have been able to actually meet the characters as if they walked off of the comic book page. Well, today we have the MCU. My goal is to make the fans feel like they are meeting Captain America as if he walked right out of the movies, as close to accurate as I can. Every little detail that I put into my costume adds another layer. More than once, many times, the kids have been asking if I am the real Captain America. And of course, the answer is yes. One thing that I have learned is the fans love to touch everything, especially if they think that it's real. They are knocking on my shield. They are opening the leather pouches on my belt. I had one kid reach in and try to take out the comms device that I have in my ear. That being the case, if I have a rigid helmet, it just adds another layer to the authenticity of the experience. For my part, I'm a replica collector, and I really like the experience that I'm holding the real thing. So unless I can find somebody who can make a replica as accurate as this made out of metal, I'm very unlikely to get my hands on something that makes me feel like it's what Steve Rogers himself would have worn. If you can make a helmet out of metal, get in touch with me. So the next best thing for me would be to feel like I'm holding something that Chris Evans wore while he was playing Captain America. And this does that job. It gives me that experience. So how do I know that? I'm going to kind of move all around back and forth, but I'm going to try to do this in 3 different levels. The first level is from across the room. You see the helmet on me, and you could recognize that I'm Captain America. I mean, it's the version of him from the movies. The design is accurate, feels accurate at least. You know, it's got everything that you would want. One of the cool things, now if you saw me from across the room, you would see that I'm Captain America, but this also fits me. One of the great things that Matthew does is this is custom fitted to me because I provided him a 3D scan of my head. If you can do that, he can custom fit it to you. I took a scan of my head with an app called Scandy Pro. And it took a lot of attempts, and it would have been so much easier if I had just asked somebody for help, but I'm stubborn, so that didn't happen. But I got a okay enough set of scans of my head that I was able to provide to Matthew. And there were a few other measurements that he needed in order to construct the helmet. One of them was the widest part around my head. That's real easy to do. You just get a tape measure. The next one was how wide my head actually is and how tall my head is. Those are hard to do by yourself, and I didn't know how I was going to do it, but Matthew has very helpful guides that help you achieve that. So I took all my measurements and I gave them to him, and he gave me back this beautiful thing. So you could see it fits me perfectly. Now, come here. No, closer. Okay, there. So this is the second level. You've gotten close enough to me where we could shake hands, or I could give you a fist bump or a high five. And now you start to notice the detail. One of the things you'll notice are these metal clips. Those are not decorative. Those are functional. The way that this works is this breaks into 2 different pieces, and you clip it and it comes up. And then you come back. It is a little tricky to do. Blindfolded it. Okay, there we go. And it comes right back in, and that stays put all day long. I haven't had an experience where it came undone. But just like the movie prop, you can see this breaks in two. So how do we know that? It's mentioned in the Art of book. They also had the helmet on display many years ago at San Diego Comic-Con, and at the display someone took a picture and one of these pins had unseated itself. There's also, if you can find it, some behind the scenes footage that shows the prop in two pieces. The leather work is amazing. It's exactly screen accurate. It is thick. Let me see if I can get you even closer here. Come here. Okay, yeah, here we are. So, all right, apologies. But the leather is on the thick side, just like the films, but it's thick and comfortable. That's the more important part. The triangle clips right here, those are metal and they're accurately designed. We have all of the straps are the right color, they feel like the right thickness, double layered and stitched. You can't find these in the store with this black stitching. You have to, the artist who makes the helmets has to manually put that in there. So he does that. And he has the metal rivet and the stitching. The chin cup has some elastic in it, which keeps it put all day long, which is great for me because as I'm getting older, I'm turning more and more into Captain Jowls. And I need that to stay put. And it does. Back here, the buckle. No, I'm on the wrong side. Yep. Back here, the buckle, screen accurate. Thank you, whoever you are who figured out that this buckle came from a maritime rescue gear equipment website. From then on, everybody's been using the accurate buckle. And then we come to this pain in the neck, the temple strap. So as a refresher, in the films, we have never seen Steve Rogers put his helmet on. There's always some editing trickery that goes on. It's the same thing when he takes it off. The one time that he took it off on camera, there was a quick cutaway, so you never get to actually see how this all works. Now, for this, it's not that Matthew solved the problem, it's how Matthew solved the problem that's so impressive. So we're going to go back to the San Diego Comic-Con display, and you can see that the not only did the pin unseat itself, but this temple strap untucked itself, and you could see that there is a stitch of something there. But what is there? We don't know. If you go to Avengers Endgame, when Steve summons Mjolnir for the first time, if you mess with the colors, you can see that the temple strap has come undone, and there is something there. We don't know exactly what, but it's rectangular, and there's a thing there. So here's how this works. This comes out, and there is a little tab. Very simple. Just a little sort of wedge-shaped tab. And what you do is, there is in here, I hope you can see it because now I'm not looking at the camera, but there is a corresponding little hole in there. And this drops down. You put this in. I'm not going to bother with the buckle at this time, but you find the hole and you put it in there and you flap that down and it stays put all day long. I haven't had any problems. Of course, I'm also not doing any battle combat. I'm just doing meet and greets with people, but it stays put. And this actually tracks because if you look at the films, this is always kind of flaring out a little bit. I mean, the attention to detail is unreal. Okay, we are moving into the third level now. Now this time we're going to really be putting this under the microscope. So let's talk texture. First, the ballistic nylon. It's insanely accurate to the film. I'm going to try to do this without losing focus. Here we go. That is an exact match to the film. I mean, that's impressive. Matthew told me that for this helmet, he changed up a little bit of his process. Come on, buddy, focus, there we are. Changed a little bit of his process. The main body is coated in a a polyurethane compound that when it hardens, it gets very scratch resistant. Now, I'm not going to scratch it right now because the paint will come off, and I know because I was at a cap mission and I attempted to put my shield on my back, and twice I skipped it off part of his helmet. But I mean, that's pretty impressive. We'll get to the weathering in a minute, but those ones are all me. Ooh, but I'm glad the helmet didn't crack. That's what I'm saying. It makes it very durable. And then one of the cool benefits was after it cures, if I can get this to focus. All right. After it cures in this Kevlar helmet texture, which until Matthew pointed it out to me, I did not even know that's accurate to the films too. So I go back and look at reference photos. I'll be damned. As far as the paint goes, I mean, I don't know the exact colors used, but this feels right, especially when I'm in costume. Everything looks right. One of the things is when we get to the weather pattern, I knew Matthew Dela Cruz was going to weather it because in the films, we have never seen a pristine Captain America helmet. With the exception, I take that back. With the exception of Avengers, the Battle of New York. Other than that, there's always some battle damage done to Cap's helmet. And if you're savvy enough, you can see that every movie, the helmet has a different weather pattern on it. My costume is Captain America Civil War. Given the attention to detail up to this point, I figured I would press my luck, and I asked Matthew if he wouldn't mind weathering this in the same weather pattern as Civil War. And it's a ridiculous ask, but I always tell my daughter, you lose nothing by trying. And I would have been fine if he would have said, no, that's too much. There's so much work going in there. How am I supposed to do that? This was Matthew's reply. So a few hours of my life watching Captain America Civil War frame by frame, noticing things I didn't notice before, such as I got a collection of reference photos that I sent to Matthew, and after he did his work, he sent me back this, which is fairly accurate. It moves around a little bit depending on, it's hard with continuity in the films, but this is pretty much a Civil War weather pattern. And therein lies my favorite detail for this entire replica. We got to get close for this one. But first, let me walk you through a little bit about the process. So the way Matthew does this is it gets the polyurethane coating, that cures, and then the parts where it's going to be weathered, he paints with a chrome silver. Unlike what I do with the shield, which is I put the main color on first and then I put the silver on top of that. Many people do that when they're weathering props. It's a standard practice. You can find it all over YouTube. The reason why this is next level is he paints it chrome and then he masks the parts to be weathered with torn pieces of tape that have to be torn in the pattern that he wants to weather. It's a meticulous job. And then he paints all the blue and the black. That dries, and then he meticulously, I got to come up with a new word, he painstakingly removes the tape, and voila, authentic paint chipping. Let me see if I can do this without nauseating the audience. Okay, we're going handheld, but look at that. It is actually chipping off. It's unbelievable, the attention to detail that went into this. And it's all over the helmet. I mean, this makes me feel like I snuck onto the set and stole one of the helmets. I mean, it is top tier replica making. Normally when I get a replica, or if I make a replica, there's something that I can find to say that could be improved. And it's nitpicking, I mean, admittedly, but with this, I can't think of anything that would improve it. He hit every single mark. I'm so glad that I get to own this. And when I'm suited up as Captain America, I'm so proud to wear this because it really is a true replica. And not only that, Matthew's a great guy. He's a great collaborator. He's very polite and responsive, not only on this, but the leather accessories, all of them. For my Captain America suit, he helped me bring them up to Civil War screen accurate standard. I wanted to make sure I shined a light on this fantastic artwork. If you're interested in this and many other quality products that he has to offer, find him on Instagram. I'll put his handle right here and it'll be in the description. Find him and buy something from him. You will not regret it. But why did they design it like that? I mean, why? It's flimsy. No soldier would wear something this flimsy. It pops right out. I mean, it's implied that it's secure, but it's not secure. And then they got the buckle here. They don't have a buckle on this side, so you can't actually take it off in any practical kind of way. That's the solution. That's the solution. All they had to do was put a second buckle over here so that it's symmetrical, and Steve could just hit both of them and the whole thing will flap forward, and then he could take it off.